Hey guys, it's Bastian time. This is This Week in Zelda News, and hopefully if all goes to plan, this quality might be slightly improved. If it isn't, then whoops, something went terribly wrong. But you will be able to tell as I'm saying this whether or not that's the case. But anyways, let's get to that first story. First up is The Wind Waker, which of course has been out for an eternity, but it is up for an amazing award, which is the Game of the Decade award, and I think it's pretty well deserved. After all of this time, it still basically stands up to the test of time, both in playability, even the graphic style, which got a lot of flack when it first came out. In retrospect, it sort of has aged just as gracefully, more gracefully, really, than any other Zelda game, in my opinion. So if you're so inclined and you want to vote for it, and I think you probably will want to, there's a link down below where you can click on to find out how. Speaking of things that have been out for a while, but are just finally getting some sort of recognition, Ocarina of Time 3D. Now, that game has been out for quite a while now, but only just recently was a soundtrack released for it. Now, to be perfectly honest, I feel like the music is basically identical, isn't it, between the original Nintendo 64 and the Ocarina of Time 3D version? I mean, I know that Hyrule Shield's song is orchestrated, but I think that's it, isn't it? So I don't really know why we need a separate soundtrack for Ocarina of Time 3D, but if you're so inclined, you want to pick one up, there's a link for you down below about how. Next up is the website Cracked, and they oftentimes create videos about popular culture sort of things and basically poke fun at them. No different in this instance. They've created a video called Why Being a Henchman in the Zelda series Would Suck, and it's pretty funny. I mean, it's not the most amusing Zelda video I've ever seen, but it's worth a watch, I think, especially the end. Yikes. Similarly, Awkward Zombie is always posting comics about video games and such, and they do a lot of Zelda ones, and here is yet another one from them regarding poor Dedli from The Wind Waker. I never did this to her, but I'm sure many of you have. You know, you can just sort of abandon her in the dungeon that she follows you into, and when you think about it realistically, what the heck happens to those people, you know? I don't know. Anyways, if you want to look at this comic, there's a link for you down below. Zelda fans are always crafting real-world versions of Zelda items, weapons, and such, and this one takes the cake. This is a Hylian shield, handcrafted, carved out of wood. It's just perfect. Of course, you might want to be careful with any sort of flaming keys around, because likely it will burn up and then you'll have to go by yourself or go to this guy and have him build you a new one, but in any case, it's just beautiful. Zelda Symphony, Symphony of the Goddesses, has had a fairly extensive tour. They've even hit some cities twice at this point. They've just added one new date to their schedule, and that's Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So if you live in Wisconsin and you haven't yet had a chance to see Symphony of the Goddesses, now's your chance. What's interesting is their website only lists up to early 2013, and I know from digging around at my local symphony's website, Portland Symphony or Oregon Symphony, I can't remember which, doing so uncovered the fact that Symphony of the Goddess is coming to my hometown in March. So, and that's not listed on the Symphony's website, so it might behoove you to go ahead and take a look at whatever your local Symphony's website is and see if maybe the Symphony of the Goddesses is coming to your city, and the Symphony of the Goddesses website simply just doesn't say it yet. But anyways, definitely going to Wisconsin, so if you live there, you want to check it out, now you can. Speaking of Zelda symphonies, Zelda Reorchestrated is a team of people who originally used to simply just use synthesizers or sampled sounds to sort of reorchestrate old school Zelda soundtracks to make them sound more orchestral. As time has gone on, they've started actually recording real symphonies. They've taken their arrangements and then had actual orchestras play them. And so they have been working on this project that I'm sure you all have heard about called Twilight Symphony for a very long time. It involves real symphony, a real orchestra, real choir. It sounds absolutely beautiful. Nintendo, though, caught wind of this, and for those who feel like Nintendo should just keep out of it, that's not very realistic, unfortunately. If a company owns a copyright and then they find out that somebody else is infringing on that copyright, they're going to take notice and they're likely going to shut it down, but not in this instance. In this instance, Nintendo is working with Zelda Reorchestrated to just sort of do all of the legalities, and that probably means that Nintendo will probably be getting a little bit of a financial cut because that is their legal right. But in any case, Nintendo has given it their stamp of approval and has only made a few teeny tiny little requests cosmetically for changes. So it's cool to know that Nintendo didn't just squash this when they found out about it, but instead sincerely looked for a way to legally make this viable. So that's pretty awesome. Speaking of people covering Zelda music, Lindsey Sterling was recently interviewed by IGN. Now, she does not sell her music, so she doesn't have to go through all of those hoops and hoopla and legalities, since she just provides it free of charge. She can do so and doesn't have to worry about all of that. But in any case, she's very well known in video game circles for usually covering Zelda songs, many other video game songs, Skyrim even, and things along those lines. On her violin, she does a fantastic job of it. Usually she sort of dresses up as a character from that video game universe, in this instance, Link in his blue Zora tunic. But in any case, they interviewed her, so if you're curious about her process, her favorite games, and so on, there's a link for you down below. And then our final story comes from Gen Game, who's a general gaming website. It's a sister site of Zelda Dungeon, all in the same family. And anyways, they did an article saying, why Wii U owners deserve a Zelda HD Collection. And, I mean, it's certainly true that in this day and age, the HD collection or HD updates of older games is definitely something that is happening because of the advent of HD. I don't necessarily know that it's absolutely needed. I mean, it sure would be cool if, like, for instance, we got a just simply an HD resolution update of, Zelda 1, The Adventure of Link, Link to the Past, even the Game Boy games. I don't really know that we necessarily need one for Ocarina of Time because that's already got its 3DS remake. Majora's Mask is likely going to be getting a 3DS remake at some point in the next year or two. So we don't really need anything along those lines. So maybe everything up to the Nintendo 64 era would be cool as an HD collection all on one disc sort of thing. I mean, I sure as heck wouldn't mind seeing Wind Waker, even the DS games, which you certainly could play on a Wii U because of the dual screen thing and the stylus and everything. It would be awesome to get HD versions of the DS Zelda games, so I think it would be cool, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary. But let me know what you think. Would you really like a Zelda HD Collection sort of thing for the Wii U? Let me know in the comments. So that's it for this episode of This Week in Zelda News. Tomorrow is This Week in Nintendo News. See you then. Bye.